Alright, what's up everybody, Sam from Rozenstruik. This video I'll be doing my card predictions for UFC Fight 9 207 or UFC Vegas 56, Volkov versus Rozenstruik. We're gonna start by checking out the results on the previous cards, and I'm gonna move on to the breakdowns and telling you guys who I'm picking, who I'm betting. Right, and at the ending I'm gonna show you guys my Patreon. If you wish to support the channel, if you wish to know how this can help you to be more profitable, stick until the end. I'll show you some examples. Alright, so starting off by checking the how it was the last card. So I risked 4.25 units, then came back 5 units. So I had a tiny profit, less than 1 unit. So it gives me 18% of performance there on this card. So for the year, I have I risked this amount in units. This was the amount of comeback. I have 25 units in profit, right? And this is in total. If I'm gonna count for every single event, my performance in every event, I would have 165% if I sum all of this. All right. So if I'm having in absolute numbers, if I started with $1,000, now I would have 1,200. All right. So this is how it looks like from the previous card. For this card, guys, I think it's an excellent card to bet. I have many bets in. Rarely it happens that I have so many bets, so this is a pretty interesting one. It's still not the entire card. It's a very big card, but I decided to upload the video, especially because I know that you guys take in consideration my wording here. So just you guys can also get the best the best odds right from the start. Right, so let's get on to what we have here. Between Poliana Botello and Karina Silva, I'm picking Botello and betting her. Rinov and Mihailidis. I think I'm picking Rinov if I'm not mistaken, but anyway, I'm betting Mihailidis is my second biggest bet for now. Then we have Joe Solecki and Alex da Silva Coelho. I have I'm picking Solecki but betting Coelho. If you're confused by this, wait until for the breakdown to know why. Mike Trezono and Lucas Almeida. I'm picking Trezono. I'm skipping as of now, even though I'm considering parlaying Trezono a little bit. Tony Gravely and Johnny Munoz Jr. I'm picking Munoz Jr., betting him. Movsar Evloev and then Ige. I'm picking Evloev but betting Ige. My biggest bet of the card on Ige. Alonso Manifield and Askar Mojarov. Sorry about the noise there. I'm picking and betting Mojarov. Ode Osborne and Zaruk Adashev. Picking and betting Osborne. Alexander Volkov and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Picking and betting Rozenstruik. Aaron Blankfield versus JJ Aldridge. I'm picking Blankfield but betting Aldridge. Alright, and this is the amount that I'm betting on each fight. So in here it shows that I'm betting my biggest bet is in Danige, then I have Mihailidis, and then this is the amount in comparison to the others. Alright, so let's get on to the big breakdown, guys. Forgot to open it up here. So by the way, feel free to let me know what you think about my picks, who you're betting, if you agree or if you don't agree. Alright, drop your comments in, let me know what you think. And let's get into it, guys. This is not in order, okay, so I apologize. Probably there is the main card's gonna appear before this was in order that I was taking a look at this. So let me see if I can just move some of them that I know there are more, but yeah, just don't consider too much the order here. So let's get into it, guys. I'm gonna try to make it fairly concise, not to extend this too much, between Poliana Botello and Karina Silva. This is actually an interesting fight. Both of these girls are talented. Botello, at least to me, she's known for her physical strengths. She hits very hard. She's a good kicker. She's a good puncher. She has decent game, grappling game. So she's pretty complete. She doesn't have many flaws, to be honest. The only thing that she somewhat is inexperienced, so she takes those pauses in there. She thinks that she's winning the fight, and then she stops pushing. She allows the other fighter to come back a little bit. She's not super technical anywhere, but doesn't have many holes as I said. So I think this is basically gonna be Botello. Karina Silva, actually, she's very talented. I like her Muay Thai. She's fast, she's sharp in there, She has decent, well-rounded game herself. She has a good double leg. She's good from her back. So I see Silva a little bit more technical. You can argue that Silva is a little bit more talented. But I don't know, man. I feel like Botello gonna be able to, hit the, land a little bit heavier, keep the front foot more often than not. I'm curious to see if Karina Silva can actually take it to the ground, take top position. This would be the better game plan for her. So definitely a close fight. I'm not too confident on Botelho, but anyway, I think her experience in the UFC, the size, the power, I think it should give her a small edge. So I have Botelho at minus 130. We have the odds in Botelho at plus 100. So tricky, but I think there's a little value on Botelho. I'm betting her. Might pick her by decision. If you like this, actually, Karina Silva in a live bet may be interesting because Botelho, she's very strong in the first round, and then she can slow down, as I said. Due to lack of experience, I don't think she has bad cardio. I just think that she kind of, you know, doesn't push, even being tired, which is an experienced fighter would do. So this is the main concern in there. But anyway, Karina Silva is also not that experienced herself. So I think it's quite even in there. Let's see what happens. My pick here is Botelho by decision, close fight. So maybe the fight goes the distance. Probably is also very interesting here. I expect that line to be expensive, but probably the safest bet would be fight go the distance here. Moving on to the next fight, we have Mike Trezono and Lucas Almeida. Actually, this is probably part of the main card if I'm not mistaken. So this is another interesting one. Almeida, very aggressive. Coming down to featherweight, this is actually interesting. He's a fairly tall guy, 5'11", gonna look pretty tall there as a featherweight. But the same is, I can tell the same thing about Trezono. Trezono is also 5'11", very lean, fit in there. Two good strikers. Almeida a little bit over aggressive, overzealous at time, gets inside, exposes himself. But the man throws hard. He swings with everything he has, and he's at his best when he's trying to, push hard and crack his opponents. Trezono is quite the opposite in there. The man is calm in the octagon. He finds his shots. He takes his time. He lands hard when he has to. Then he hits an angle. He keeps touching you until he opens up a bigger shot. So I can see Trezono. Actually, it's gonna depend a lot on how Almeida gonna approach this fight. If he comes, like guns blazing and swing with everything as he always does, he's probably gonna guess, and we're gonna see Trezono easily winning this one. If Almeida somewhat can pace himself, use his power at the right time, use leg kicks on the outside, it could be close. Anyway, I think Trezono is the favorite here. I think he has more experience in the UFC. An overall amount of fights, I think he has one less than Almeida, or more or less the same. But Trezono has the better experience. He's more clean in the technique, better fundamentals. So he should win this one quite comfortably. Unless, like I said, Lucas Almeida can, pace his aggression, corral Trezono, make it a dog fight, but not in a smart way. He could do. He's a fairly experienced fighter, but I don't know. I think Trezono is quite a decent pick in here. I have him as minus 200. The bookies have minus 250. When that happens, I don't like much betting the guy. But anyway, if you're gonna ask me, I think Trezono is worth some parlays. Tony Gravely and Munoz Jr. Another interesting one. Gravely, known for his wrestling, he's also a pretty decent grappler, but from top he likes to control a little bit with the body lock, land some shots, keep shooting. Very difficult to stop his wrestling shots. But he's fighting Munoz Jr. here, who is a BJJ black belt. He's the better technical grappler on the mat. Gravely is the better wrestler, but Johnny Munoz not a bad wrestler himself. Times his shot well. He's evolving nicely with the hands too. He's using a good jab, good straight punches. He knows that he has that range to his advantage. He's definitely trying to use that in his fights. I think Munoz is gonna control a little bit the range here. I expect that Tony could even win the first round because he's good, especially in the first. So maybe a live bet here on Johnny Munoz Jr. would be the best way to go. But rather than that, I think Gravely, he could win the first round, but he could even get caught right away in a submission. I think Johnny probably gonna either make it very close the first round, either he loses the first round, he starts picking up from the second. Gravely probably gonna start slowing down, gonna start opening up with some mistakes, can even get caught in a submission. So that's why I'm picking Johnny here. I'm picking within the distance, but most likely Johnny by submission here, right? Or Johnny by decision, more or less same chances in my opinion, right? If you like Tony Gravely, I would say definitely by decision, because Gravely, he could knock Munoz Jr. out, but I don't give much chances for that. Very difficult to submit Munoz here, even though Tony has a decent arm triangle. But rather than that, I think Gravely to win here, he has to take top position, somewhat stall, control the position, which it won't be easy. But anyway, if you like Gravely, I would say by decision, right? But I'm going Johnny Munoz Jr. here, quite a decent bet in my opinion. Adi Osborne and Zaruk Adashev, pretty easy to break down. Osborne, very athletic, tall, super long in there. I think the man has probably 73 inches, being 5'7". Speaks to his physical, the way he's built physically. The man is also super fast. He's dangerous with the strikes, very dangerous flying knee. He also a decent wrestler, right? The problem with Osborne is that he doesn't have much defense. He carries the chin very up, and the hands by his waist. It makes him more dynamic, but makes him also more vulnerable. But on the other hand, he's fighting Adashev or Adashev in here. The man is a good flyweight, but a tough one, right? Very strong fundamentals, good boxing, good sambo wrestling. But I think he's outsized here, quite a bit because Osborne is such a big bantamweight. So Adashev to win here, he's gonna have to use those calf kicks, but he's fighting a southpaw here in Osborne. I don't see much calf kicks given the opposite stances. That I mean they are not in opposite stances, right? Because Osborne is southpaw, so Adashev orthodox, they're gonna have the front foot touching. I don't see much calf kicks given those stances, right? And I don't see much chance for Adashev to landing something clean because there's that massive reach of Osborne plus he's a couple of inches taller. So I think it's gonna be difficult for Adashev to land, even though Adi Osborne carries the chin high, he can get caught, even get finished. But I think anyway the value is on Adi here. I have more or less what the bookies have, so I'm taking a chance just because Adi Osborne has more chances for the finish. So quite a risky bet, right? But anyway, I think it's worth to bet Adashev here, to bet Osborne here. Sorry. Rinov Rinov and Andres Mihailidis. This is an interesting one, guys. Actually, I was thinking that I was picking this one much closer. But anyway, I think Rinov, the man is pretty okay everywhere. I don't see many flaws on his game, right? But I also don't see anything spectacular, to be honest. I think he fought quite decent fighters in there, but I was not impressive, to be honest. Quite decent stand-up game, but like I'm putting here, not the fastest guy. Doesn't have that setup. Sorry, there's a typo here. Doesn't have that much setup. He can get hit. He can hit pushed back. I don't see much activity from top. He's not those. Despite the Russian surname, he's not those guys that keep wrestling and making our life miserable. He can time a wrestling shot. He's pretty decent in technique, but doesn't. It's not the greatest athlete. Let's put it this way. Mihailidis, man, I think so. This guy's trying to revamp his career. He's pretty tough. He was undersized as a light heavyweight, dropped it to middleweight. Was an okay weight class for him, but he was not the biggest either, right? He struggled against Alex Pereira. Actually, he didn't struggle. Actually, he had a very good game plan against Pereira. He got caught in that. It was a flying knee, I think. Right? Yeah. Got caught in the flying knee, but show his toughness. He's dropping again here to welterweight. I like it for Mihailidis. I think he's gonna be a very big welterweight. I think he has the better experience of the two in here. Not experience. He has the. I think he's a little bit more. He's a little bit tougher. He's a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, and I think he's gonna make this a fight. I don't see Rinov being able to dominate this one. I actually think it's much closer. For some reason, when I was analyzing this, I put Rinov as quite a favorite. I don't think he's like minus 200. I would say that he's in maximum minus 150. Which would give Mihailidis probably something like plus 155. So to me, I'm still favoring Rinat here. Even though I'm quite confused, but. Just in terms of odds here, favoring being extra. How do you say this in English again? Extra fair. I want to say extra fair. So I'm being extra fair here for Rinat, saying that okay, let me judge Mihailidis and not put too much potential in here. Let me judge from what I've seen. So for Rinat, maybe the favorite, like a minus 150, but No way to bet Renat here, guys. Mihailidis is my second biggest bet in here. I think he can win by decision, but I also see this guy pushing hard. He can even finish Renat like round 2, round 3, so definitely Mihailidis here in my opinion. Alonso Manifield and Askar Mojarov. This is very easy to break down. I think this gonna be like ridiculous. I think here I just forgot to replace the name. I think it's gonna be insane. Mojarov just comes forward, and man, those leg kicks and those swings are insane. The man is young and super powerful, super explosive. He's also under a good camp. He's not 27. Sorry to keep fixing this one. And Manifield is known for his power, right? I think his power is overrated, to be honest. But anyway, he packs power. And he also showed some bouts where he can fight fairly smart using a clinch, being able to take it to the ground, set up an arm triangle, this type of things. But you can tell that Alonso, he has a decent idea of what he has to do, but the execution is sometimes quite poor, right? He lost to William Knight. It was quite disappointing, that loss. And he got out grappled by William Knight, right? Just tells that he can do some things from top, but when it comes down to experience and defense, that's when he struggles. I think Mojarov gonna come like with fire in his eyes. The man probably gonna come for a war. I think Mojarov gonna knock Manifield out in the beginning. If not, Manifield gonna knock Mojarov out. But I think there's a little bit more chance for Mojarov. The under props here seem to be a lock, guys. I know this is wrong, okay? But the under prop here seems to be a lock. Unless Mojarov brings an approach where he's gonna try to be more calm in there because it's the UFC. Not impossible. I've seen this before, but doesn't seem to fit much his character either. Mojarov seems to be those guys that come to all in. Finish or get finished. So yeah, I think Mojarov by knockout. If not, under props, but that should be insane expensive because very difficult to see this going the distance. Aaron Blankfield and JJ Aldridge. Well, to start off, I think the odds are off. All right, I think Blankfield, she is a tough girl. Only 23-year-old, has her mind all focused in the game. She's talented, right? She's a tenacious in there, very good wrestling, very tough, very difficult to stop. Her wrestling very good from the top, good control, right? Reshoots. So she's intense. She knows what she has to do. She's young, has all the potential, and she's fighting JJ Aldridge, which is at her physical prime herself. She's not as young. I think she's probably not 30 or something close to that. And but Aldridge, man, she has experience against wrestlers. She has experience against good grapplers. She's under a good camp. She knows what Aaron gonna try here. Not gonna be easy to stop, not because she knows what Erin gonna do means that she can't stop. I think JJ, she can get taken down and can get dominated here, but she will try. She knows what she has to do. She has a good, decent sprawl. She has good underhooks. She has girls to train with. She has people that can push her. So we'll see. Gonna be a fight here, fighting here, guys. I'm still not sure that Erin can be that physically dominant. Aldridge. She fought before as strawweight, but she's a quite decent size for a flyweight. So I think it's pretty much the strength is pretty. I think Erin is a little bit stronger, but not that much. So we'll see if Aldridge actually can make Erin work. And standing, Erin, she'll take her chances. She's tough in there too. She's good, but so is Aldridge on the feet. I think it's quite competitive. Aldridge fought good strikers before too, so she has some good fundamentals herself. I don't know, man. I think Erin maybe minus 200 if you really think Erin can dominate. I think I would give her maximum minus 300. So Aldridge to me, at least, she would be a maximum plus 250 dog. She's at plus 450. I think it's too much. I have to bet Aldridge here. I think she could make it close in case she can stop Erin. I may look like a fool in the end. Erin can just take top position and hammer her down as she always does. But anyway, I think this is I'm betting here on the doubt, right? To me, makes sense to bet given the lines on Erin. Still relatively improving. Sorry about this. relatively. I got caught up in her unproven, so we'll see what happens in here with Aldridge as a plus 450 dog. Joe Solecki and Alex da Silva Coelho. Another interesting fight. Joe Solecki known for his grappling, his submission game. The man is he's quite big, lightweight. He also has he's fast in the twitch. Very good double leg, jumps you guys back right away. Good control, throw submissions. He takes his time, but he attacks. So he's a good fighter, especially on the ground. On the feet, he's not bad, but he's trying to improve in there. He uses mostly to set up his shots, right? He waits until the guy tries to take an extra step, then he shoots, or even he shoots himself before all of that. So Solecki, not easy to stop, especially in the first round. He's fighting Alex da Silva here, who is no, he's not a grappler. He's a fairly decent striker, fairly decent grappler. So he probably comes from an MMA background right from the start. He's still pretty young, but he's good when he's taking the front foot, when he's been able to take top position. He's good when he's on the offense. Alex da Silva. I think Joe has a little bit more chances here just because he's a little bit, stronger, more explosive. Right, he's the better grappler. Joe Solecki is. Even though Coelho doesn't make many mistakes on the ground, I think Coelho can survive. I think Coelho can even have his time in terms of he can also take top position, especially from the second round. He can also win some scrambles. It's not impossible in here because he's a decent grappler himself. Maybe Joe shoots and cannot land in a good position. They scramble. The Silva ends up on top, gives some shots, stuffs the takedown. So they will battle. And I think Solecki is a small favorite in here, but I do see Coelho being able to make it close, right? So to me, it makes sense to bet Coelho. I got him in an early market plus 170. Now he's at plus 145, which is somewhat what I have. In this regard, it makes it a little bit tricky. But still, I think maybe Coelho, given that the chance that, giving him the chance of the underdog. But the best bet in here, to me, definitely Coelho by decision, because Solecki also has more chances for the finish, for the submission. So da Silva Coelho by decision is probably the way to go here. Also, I think this goes the distance. If the line is somewhat at plus money, fight good distance at plus money, I'm interested in that too. Movsar Evloev and then Ige. Like I told you guys, my biggest bet in here in Ige. I mean, Evloev is a great fighter, has everything that you can talk about, doesn't have many flaws, just, tenacious with that sambo wrestling, keeps pushing, very good cardio, good stand-up, like, uses the fundamentals pretty well, can do a little bit of everything. But I can say similar things about Ige. Ige was very disappointing in the loss to the Korean Zombie, but I think after that, against Josh Emmett, he brought it. I think he lost that fight because, anybody can lose to Josh Emmett, right? Ige had his moments in that fight too. He was able to land, he was able to out-wrestle Emmett at times, which I liked. He also obviously got caught with some bombs, but he's still hanging in there. The man has a good chin. So Ige is tough. Ige is a good wrestler, he's a good grappler. I think Evloev has a small edge in the grappling, and especially in the wrestling, but not because of technique. It's mostly because he can push harder. But Ige also has more power. I think he's a little bit bigger, naturally a little bit bigger than Evloev. So we'll see what happens here, guys. I have this one fairly close. Movsar to me would be a minus 150 favorite, which would give Ige a plus 155. Ige is a plus 300. So to me, the value is on Ige. I really hope that people keep betting Evloev. I hope that lots of people parlay him because I want to get Ige at a juicier price. Then I'm gonna lay even more money on Ige. Ige by decision is insane in my opinion. Probably gonna be able to find that line at plus 600, something like that. So no way that you can pass on that bet. You definitely, in my opinion, have to bet Ige by decision. This will be a close fight. All right. Maybe Evloev will win 29-28, right? Not gonna be split decision or anything, but I do think that Ige can definitely make this close. He can have his round. We can have 29-28 in favor of Ige. We can have split decision here, guys. Ige has more chance for the finish too. In my opinion, he packs more power. So very interesting one to bet. My biggest bet in the Ige. Alexander Volkov in Jersey Rozenstruik in the main event. I like this fight. I was first thinking, okay, Volkov gonna control the range, gonna be an easy win for him. Jairzinho Rozenstruik has a single strike. I don't think he's gonna land on Volkov. After watching the footage, I see actually Volkov being very susceptible to being hit. He carries his chin fairly high. He definitely controls the range. He's super tall, right? But Rozenstruik is explosive. Volkov, I don't know, man. If he still has those reflexes, I think he's fighting smarter. But I don't think he still has a very strong chin. You know, it's incredible, unbelievable. The man can take heavyweight shots. Obviously, he's a big one, but I don't think he can take many shots from Rozenstruik, right? He's probably not going to be put out with one strike, but if Rozenstruik can land the overhand and throw a flurry on him, I do see Rozenstruik being able to finish Volkov by knockout. I think Rozenstruik actually has better fundamentals, right? Maybe the kickboxing, maybe Volkov is the better boxer, but given the kicks, I think Rozenstruik uses a little bit better. There is the height and the reach advantage for Volkov, so there's definitely that to take into account. I think he's probably at least, I think he's 5 inches taller than Rozenstruik, right? Probably 2 or 3 in range. So it is significant, especially because Volkov has that massive experience. But again, guys, I think Jairzinho, he will take his time. He'll find some leg kicks, and if you blink on him, he's gonna crack you with the overhand, with the left hook and the head kick. He can put anybody out. I think he will find the shot against Volkov. Actually, I said I was back and forth there, but I think I put this wrong. What did I do here? Actually, I put it right. Yeah, actually, I'm picking Volkov, but I'm betting Rozenstruik, right? I think I put it here that Volkov by decision is the most likely scenario, which makes sense. But Jairzinho by knockout or Jairzinho by decision, even not impossible. So yeah, the odds that I put here is actually what I had. So yeah, my pick will be Volkov by decision, just because, contradicting myself here, right? Just because I think if he's gonna win, it is by decision. But Rozenstruik, he can win by knockout, he can win by decision. That's why it makes sense to me to bet Rozenstruik in here. All right. So guys, I hope you guys like this video. If you do, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. How my Patreon can help you. So I have $10 and $50 tier. Here's in Brazilian reais. They converted it here. Actually converted pretty interestingly with the rate that is not the current rate. But anyway, so it's $10 and $50. With $10, you guys all can chat with me. You guys have access to the content that I post, right? And sometimes I post also earlier in Patreon. So just to show you guys how does it look like my posts. So I got some the post-weigh-ins thoughts are always exclusive on Patreon. Just to show you guys here some tips that I give. So I said about Hughes by decision didn't cash. I said about Vieira by decision. I said about Park and Anders going the distance. This both cashed. Then I said about Morales by decision didn't cash. I got a cover bet on Poliana Viana in round 1, right? I also bet Michel Pereira at the ending. I didn't show to you guys because I put it after, right? So I accounted for my wins, not regarding this one, but I also put this bet on Michel Pereira, right? So this is more or less how it looks like. Some exclusive content in here, guys. You can obviously chat with me, use my brains to your own advantage. I always like to discuss about fights. I always help guys when I can, right? Then I posted already. I have my posts on UFC 275. I made, I think, already analyzed 5 fights. I think I have 3 bets in it for UFC 275. It's exclusive also on Patreon. This content that you guys seen here, it's also exclusive on Patreon. Also, it's missing still some fights missing. I'm gonna add them so you guys can also read. And here I have the summarized analysis in this summarizing here as comments, right? I have this for every single fight. And for $50, guys, which is the ultimate package, you guys have access to this spreadsheet, so you can always see any updates that I'm making. For example, Michel Pereira that I bet. So anything that I'm adding or adding here, betting more in someone. Sometimes I do that too. You guys have access to the props. So the props that I comment in there is difficult for you to know maybe exactly what I'm doing. So with this, you guys can see how much I risked in some Hills by decision, in Vieira by decision, in Park and Anders, and so on and so forth, right? So you guys can also have access to all of this, all right? Plus show your appreciation, your great appreciation to the channel, all right? So guys, I hope again you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and consider joining the Patreon. And anyway, I'm gonna talk to you next time. This time from Rozenstruik, bring the best, most consistent and transparent strategy for you.